Good evening, everyone, tonight. Welcome back to another fantastic opportunity for racing here in SRA. We're going to be doing Season 8's Division 1 Round 4 tonight. The race is going to be, of course, held at everybody's favorite track, Nürburgring. With me tonight, I'm joined by the greatest guy in the whole wide world, Josh Damiani. How are you feeling, Josh?
Feeling better than I was last night. I've recovered from my poor decision making, and I'm here to learn what quality racing looks like as we watch D1.
We are ready for the all-time greatest redemption arc ever going on in SRA history. You're going to witness it here tonight and tomorrow. Skip over to the track map. We'll go over what we're going to be looking at a little bit today. Of course, Nürburgring is a relatively long track, even though to me it doesn't quite feel like it is. Spots of contention that I could point out are, of course, going to be turns 1, as it's kind of obviously the opening turn after the main straight, and it functions as almost kind of a hairpin, but not quite. You'll also see some racing in turn 7, as it's almost kind of a hairpin, but not quite. And turn 15, which I'm not going to say it a third time, but you get the point. What do you think, Josh? Did I miss anything?
Pretty much anywhere that's not turns 8, 9, 13, 14, you may see somebody go for a move. The track is a lot wider than the roads we've been racing on recently, so I feel a lot of people are going to be itching to make overtaking moves.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, there's not any corners other than 8, 9, 13, 14 where it's really out of place. Go for one.
Oh, yeah.
Turn 6 is kind of awkward. Turn 5 is a little awkward as well, but it's still doable. So Nürburgring really produces a lot of eventful racing, and I think tonight, with the way the pace has been showing across D1, it's really going to be an eventful race.
Couldn't agree more. Lots of slow corners right after long straights that are obviously just going to beg people to do dive bombs and stuff on. So, going to be some eventful racing. Speaking of eventful racing, take a look at the team standings here for Season 8. In the lead, we have Pillars Racing Sakura. I think this is a new entry at number 1 this week. I believe they might have been in second last week. That's, of course, going to be Diego and Nick San, 2 drivers to definitely be watching tonight. We'll also be keeping our eyes peeled for what Kerstetter's team TBD is going to be doing, as he tries to break in to that podium position with his teammate Gareth Sykes. And with how close P2 and P3 are, Comic Racing Sharks and TSE Drive Audi Vroom are to each other, one position difference here could mean taking their spot. Also something to definitely be looking out for. Then we got the driver standings. Of course, we now have Ed Kerstetter up top. He's got a pretty nice lead there. I'm sure he wouldn't call it comfortable, but it looks nice from where we're sitting. What do you think, Josh?
I think it's way too early in the season to call anything comfortable. Mistakes, missed races, drop races. As a few people have been experiencing this season, injuries. Um, Anything can really damper your championship, and
Yeah.
positions aren't split by a whole lot, and there are a lot of points up for grabs with the way we score things here at SRA. So,
Oh, yeah. You're definitely
yeah,
right.
I think anybody can be anywhere, but right now to start off 25 points between P1 and P2 is a decent way to get the season rolling.
Yeah. There is, of course, the caveat that there are 5 people on this leaderboard, all of which could technically move up to that P1 spot, given the perfect storm. So, of course, those 5 people, Jeremy Mercer in second, Diego in third, Mr. Sir in fourth, Timothy Flomger and Travis Nordstrom running them up. All going to be guys to be keeping your eyes on tonight.
My eyes right now are on all of these silver drivers as they're slowly building themselves gaps to start on their qualifying efforts.
Looks like in chat we have Patches O'Houlihan's over-under on lap 1 incidents, as defined by auto tickets issued by the stewards to the stewards. The line is 3. What do you got, Josh? They're going to be more or less? More or less incidents than 3?
I'm going under this week. I went over last week, and it was low wrong.
That it was.
And I'm going to wager myself 10 loaves.
I'll match your 10 loaves, and I'll take the over this time. It's going to be... Turn 1 can be brutal here.
It definitely can be, but I mean, with, again, choices made in last night's practice race, what I was referencing earlier, sometimes can end up 3 and 4 wide, but I feel like having a live example of what that does to us last night, less people are going to be inclined to do it.
Excited to see it.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm confident that there's going to be 0, as I always am. But I'm taking the over purely for entertainment value, you know? Wheeler's going to be one of the first of the silver drivers to cross here on their first laps. Of course, we already have a few of Travis Robinson leading that pack with a 54.2, which is already beating my best time. And Wheeler with a 54.1 puts down a really good time for him and is leading D2 at the moment. Diaz is going to cross. This is going to be fast. I can feel it. All right, P8. P8. Hopefully I'm not wrong twice tonight. Russ slots into 6. Nate Specht out for his first lap. I think that guy's going to be putting on a show.
I don't think any specific car has a dominance this week.
I agree. The McLaren, I think this is the first time in 3 races where the McLaren is not a bad car, though. Because there's so many of them on the grid, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a resurgence in that car, I think. It's not bad on this track. Might not be the fastest, but it feels pretty good. As evidenced by the current pole position. Provisional pole position, of course, Ian Wheeler. And now Mert Michi, also in the McLaren. And Dan Good.
Right behind him, physically and on timing beats.
Yep. So 4 of the top 5 are currently McLarens. Now there's an Audi in the bunch. The Audi's fast everywhere, though. 2 Audis in the bunch. We don't have any BMWs in D2 Silver, but...
D1?
Or yeah, sorry, D1 Silver, but... I think it's going to be a pretty quick car here. Maybe the fastest. And we just might find out come D1 Gold's quali time.
Something we do have in D1 Silver is a driver serving a qualifying ban, and that's number 105 of Nick Sang. In case we were wondering why he's sitting in the pits. It's a few drivers collecting some penalty points, as well as overhanging penalty points from previous races and previous seasons.
Yeah, and I just realized actually Nick San having a drive-through, or not a drive-through, but a quali ban, has some implications some pretty strong implications for the standings, as he's on Pillars Racing Sakura with Diego, and they're in the lead right now.
I mean, this track with the chaos that your overbet thinks that will ensue,
True.
it could be kind of favorable to start from the pits and have a delayed joining of that crowd.
Not going to disagree with that. Nate Specht crosses the line. Good enough for P3 on the pole at the moment is Robinson still, or again. Nate Specht only 0.2 off of that time.
There's a lot of these drivers with time in hand, just looking at the actual times on the points, not positions. Way too many of them have 54s right now. So I think there's many tenths that'll be jumped.
Big time.
It's really the defining mark, it seems, between Division 1 and Division 2 on this track. It's qualifying pace, 53s, 54s.
Yeah,
Although there are a few
53s.
starting to step across the border.
53 is a wildly impressive time here to me.
I remember earlier on at one point in my racing career, I don't know what it was, whether it was like SRA or just, I don't know, coming out to this track and having a target time to hit. I remember like 55 being fast. Being like, how the heck am I supposed to get that?
Right.
Now it's like 54.2 is my best. I'd be happy with a 54.4. Like, okay.
Cars got faster, eh?
Meanwhile, these guys are out here 53.7, and whatever Gold's gonna do, who knows, 49.
Got my eye on Nate Specht as he's about to cross the line. But I think I jinxed him as his delta melts away and he remains in P3. CJ Meeks has a pretty good looking delta at the moment as he gets a little anxious going over the chicane curb. Still got a decent delta, didn't lose too much. It's gonna catapult him up to P2. It's a really good time for him. And he pulls off because he can't run another lap, as it is D1 Gold's time to go.
That is correct. They're probably about halfway through their formation lap, or out lap, whatever you'd like to call it.
By the way, Travis Robinson is looking to keep this silver pole all to himself. He is on an absolute flyer out there for his final lap. Michi wants to give him a run for his money, but if Robinson crosses the line with this, I don't think he's going to get a chance.
Michi on your main screen, Robinson down in your picture. Big jump in the chicane.
Yeah, same from Michi.
.53.6.
And Michi doesn't nail the final corner, is not going to improve on his time. Another driver that's still out there, though, Nate Specht. Crosses the line, stays P5. Ian Wheeler.
Not able to find any time.
Also doesn't find time, stays P10. That's going to be it for D1 Silver tonight. Now, who is leading the golds? Looks like it's going to be Peter O'Brien, Tier Sim Racing, in that car that is my absolute favorite livery on track.
That is sleek.
Good-looking guy and a good-looking car is going to put down a good-looking time, I'm sure of it. I made a few assumptions there, by the way.
Just a few. Pip's playing a slideshow right now.
It's playing hard to get. Togue Titan bet the under, 10 loaves.
Yeah.
Falango 6. Oh, we got some times. Peter O'Brien goes P17. Dom Duran goes P13. Then up top, you've got Nordstrom and Rose, P2 and P3 off their first laps. Putting down absolute bangers to open the show up. See Michael Minning cross the line for his first lap. Going to be good enough for P22. We've got Ed Kerstetter about to enter the final sector. I'm very interested to see just what he's capable of tonight, what kind of pace he has. He's going to be one to watch tonight. Big Sriracha's taking the even. Sorry, Big Sriracha, only the house gets to take the even. Oh, Patches says you can bet the line. You heard it here first. Big Sriracha is the house. Yuzerski says he's taking the over. T1 is going to be a parking lot. I wouldn't be so sure. I have a lot of confidence in these D1 guys.
I am the host. Alright.
Ryan
walk
Yee.
around with a cane and poke me in the hip, tell me I got scoliosis.
Ryan
Not
Yee
that kind of
crossed with a
house.
fantastic time. Diego Fimbrecasas crosses with a fantastic time, only 2/10 off of pole, slots him into P3. And then you got Kerstetter, who's sitting in P7 now after what was a really good lap from him. Way up on his delta. Guy's probably got pole in his sights. Will he get it? Or will it be a Porsche on top, the one car we didn't mention? Currently is with a 53.2, which is just an absolutely absurd time to me.
And up 10th and a half.
Up to P4 for him. He's probably got a lot left in the tank. Diego, another driver in a great livery. Taking the final corner before he enters into Sector 3. Relatively cleanly. This Delta's looking nice. Looked smooth over the chicane. Final corner looked pretty smooth on my end too. This Delta's gonna stay green enough. He's gonna take provisional pole for the moment, snatching that spot away from Nordstrom. Mia Rose and the BMW still in P3 for the moment. Kerstetter up to P5. I should say down to P5. He was just in P4 before Diego took it from him. Bumped him down. But as I was saying, he's got some more left in the tank. Looks like he just didn't quite carry enough speed through the final corner, so he's not going to improve as he crosses the line. This BMW is another awesome livery.
Completely agree. It up just over 2/10 right now, coming towards sector 3. On pace to get pretty close to a 53.0.
I'd love to see it. Well, it's still going to be a fast lap, but it looks like things got a little bumpy for Mia in the chicane. So she did lose time, but still going to move her up to P2. Diego up ahead calls it quits. He's back in the pits, so time to beat for pole is going to be a 53.2. Mia's going to get another chance. Nordstrom's getting another chance. Kerstetter's on his last chance, but it's not looking too great as he's got a relatively even Delta at the moment. And just a little bit down in P6. Timothy Flomger might have something nice in store for us. We'll see. Another driver that is... Sorry?
His lap.
Nordstrom and Rose both kind of in the red as they're approaching the end of theirs. Ryan Yee's going to be one to watch here as he approaches final corners of Sector 2. Hits him relatively cleanly, and he has some green on the charts. Mia Rose jumped through the chicane. That time it wasn't too bumpy. And they're going to be putting something down here as they cross the line, take pole position away from Diego. Nordstrom still in P3, Minning in 4, Kerstetter in 5. Ryan Yee moves up to P7 with a decent lap as well.
Flamger finds himself in 4. But a 53.09. We're so close.
Incredibly
Dirty Vegan
close.
in the chat saying, "What the alien shit is that?" My thoughts exactly.
That's a pretty insane time, huh? Love to see it though.
Got this beautiful auto showing off these again. It's a little bit of a later start time. It's closer to sundown. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than used to. 20 and realistically dropping.
Yeah, temperatures are going to drop decent amount. Drivers are definitely going to want to have their tires overinflated for the start here.
Well, maybe not overinflated, but I think a little bit less of a weight compensation,
Oh yeah.
I guess you could call it, than you would typically apply to your setup. So I have a baseline setup that I dropped 1 psi per tire for quali, and I added half a psi back for the race, and it wasn't enough. So, am I better now?
Yeah.
Falango 6?
I was also making some adjustments on my end. We'll give the people what they want.
Perfect. All I did was turn the mic so that it was pointed at my mouth instead of at my chin.
That helps.
Yeah, you know, skill issue.
Speaking of skill issue, Mia Rose 2/10 away from the rest of the crowd. What an absolute challenge out there. Sure,
I was confused how you were starting that. You were talking about skill issues and then say Mia Rose. I'm like, mud.
Yeah, pole position skill issue. No, not quite.
53-0.
53-0 is pretty insane. I know the competitive spirits of these drivers have to just be absolutely buzzing right now. We welcome the absolutely insane times. Lift everybody up. Make everybody want to take it even more, you know?
No doubt. While we get started here, I'm gonna very quickly go refill my drink.
Take your time. We're gonna get a nice bird's eye view from the helicopter as the race starts here in a bit. We do have drivers starting in their engines and running out there for their outlap. Turn 1's gonna be something to watch. Don't miss it. While the drivers are getting set and lined up, I'm gonna go over a little bit of the race implications here. Of course, Mia Rose is not too far off from where I think they'd want to be, which is at the top of the leaderboards. A win here or a good result here could give them just enough of a boost, just the boost that they might want. Diego's pretty daggone close to the top as well. I think if he gets a win or a good result here, he could very well jump to the top, to the very tippy top of the leaderboard and become the championship leader.
You're the championship leader, Cody.
I wish I was the championship leader. Kerstetter, currently sitting in P6, is our championship leader, and he's probably not thrilled about being in P6. He's going to have to make up some positions here and pray that Diego and Blomger and Nordstrom and them don't get too far ahead here. As it currently stands, I think somebody might be snatching that spot. Some awesome looking cars up at the front of the pack. Love the Shark Porsche. Love the Sakura. Love the pink BMW. Completely detracts from its natural menacing look, but looks great nonetheless. Ryan Yee's still got his grid thingy on his livery, so we're just gonna say it's intentional. It does look sweet.
Yeah, the more I look at it, it looks like it's only on the black portion of the livery. So
Right.
it is intentional. Double file. as everybody gangs up into somebody's backseat trunk or just right in the driver's seat.
Peter O'Brien in that just absolutely goated out Audi livery. I love it. Let's go ahead and find that bird's eye view. Drivers are starting to come around the final corner. They're going to get racing.
As usual, main screen's gonna have the leaders in picture-in-picture. I'm over top of P20 right now, so just hang out here till something happens.
Give it all you can.
And something will, as the drivers are off and away. It looks like Mia gets a great start. Diego also gets a good start and just might be able to send it up the inside into turn one. Do they? It gets close, almost make contact, but they don't get a great exit. Good enough to stay ahead in P2 as Flamger on the inside actually takes Nordstrom's position. Nordstrom drops down to P4 around the second corner.
Jeremy Bray exits stage left back at turn 2. Other than that, a very clean effort from the entire crew of drivers so far.
Yeah, that was amazing. We're gonna call that 0 for now, for the moment. And it looks like Kerstetter took Minning in P1 or in turn 1, turn 2, and Flamger took Nordstrom in the same area. A little bit of a shift up on the first front rows.
A lot of tight battles going on as everybody starts to find a little bit of room, and then very quickly ends up back in an accordion effect.
Yep.
Back here at the back of the pack, it's still too wide.
Drivers are just now starting to spread out a bit as Mr. Sir and Jeremy Mercer overtake Travis Robinson.
Nick Sand and Victor Diaz 2x2 in the Schumacher S. Well done for both of them to come out of it facing forwards.
Yep, single file up front now, and as we go through the chicane here, important to note that the pit window is open, so who will we see jump in for an early undercut? Not too many from my point of view, as we see a little action back there, as it looks like Ian Wheeler.
John Sparks, Sam Reck, all jumping into the pits so far.
That looks like it. That might be.
Hey, that might be, bro.
It might be. Ian Wheeler might be in a really good position, as he, I believe, was the first one to dip into the pits, and he was back at the middle of the, kind of in the back of the middle of the pack. If his strategy pans out and he's able to get into clean air, I'd wager he takes a lot of positions due to that.
Mr. Sir goes up the inside of Spangler to take P10.
Yeah. Mr. Sir into the top 10 with that move. Right where he belongs. Ryan Yee down to P8, by the way. I believe he lost a spot to Minning.
I think just relaying off of what Stefan says, I think the start box issue wagers in relation to where position 1 is once we get down towards the start, and then it's out of position as in like someone is actually in front of someone who they're not supposed to be. So technically P1 can't be out of position as long as they're not significantly ahead or going over speed. Just spitballing, like, I'm not up in the lead too often.
I will say P1 knows how to game that system. I've seen Rose have like 3 just absolutely fantastic starts up on or near the front row so far this season.
CJ Meeks comes up the inside of Travis Robinson at turn 1, can't hold the outside at turn 2. And that's kind of the battle of overtakes in Sector 1.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that. You can take somebody on the inside of turn 1, but if they get even a decent drive on the outside there, they got the inside line for turn 2 and turn 3. Turn 3 kind of cuts you off from making any additional moves. ECM DRW5 says, what was pole time? Pole time was a 53.0. 53.020. Ridiculous, ridiculous speed.
You got that right, sexual. Fast AF.
Yowza. Wilson XCI says, hi, Mr. Platt and Josh. I think
Aloha, Bromigo.
I think that's my boy. I think that's my teammate, Andrew Wilson. Welcome to the stream.
Ed Kerstetter currently holding on to the fastest lap of the race of 54.752. That was his last lap. Definitely trying to make a charge.
I'm not surprised at all. Kerstetter is going to be clawing for that position and every other position he can get his hands on. I know dang well he wants to stay in the championship lead. Ryan Yee into the pits. Mr. Sir into the pits.
Nick Sand goes off at the chicane. Whole bunch of things.
Very interesting.
Oh. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm interested to see where Ryan Yee and Mr. Sir come out.
Oh no. Patrick Rust, you can't exit, or you can't enter the Nordschleife, sadly.
Oh.
That O was coming into a battle of 4 cars all separated by a 10th, but it looked like Rust got a little loose coming into the last corner and was collected by the car behind coming into the braking zone. That's a shame.
That was a decent impact too. Probably going to be a lot of damage. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think with the position he's at, he's a little too far to come over into the pits, so I think he has to go around and then in.
Oh boy. Bummer. You don't want to be in a train of 4. There's that chin music. Call him Shawn Michaels.
Patches, I'm signing that petition. I need the Schleif.
As long as we can use the racing line, I need it.
Racing line, come on, bud. Can you even keep up with the line changing color that fast? I know I can't.
I can keep up with a lot of things, Josh.
Well, as it seems, Diego can't keep up with Mia Rose. Gaps opened up over a second and slowly increasing. Mia now has the fastest lap of the race with a 54.1.
That's a really good time for a race fuel. I can't say I'm too shocked. Diego in the Ferrari versus Porsche, or sorry, versus BMW. I think the BMW is going to have the upper hand when it comes to just race pace and comfortability. So unless Diego has something in his pocket that Mia doesn't, it's going to be hard for him to keep up.
And realistically, just thinking from the outside in, I think you would want to try and have that gap close earlier on in the race because of that beautiful Ferrari turbo chewing at the rear tires.
Oh yeah. But we still have a really good fight for P2 down to P5 as those 4 guys are all within a second of each other. Some of them within a half second of each other. Flamger wants to overtake Diego for P2. Nordstrom wants to overtake Flamger for P3. Then of course we've got Kerstetter in a position to score some pretty daggone good points tonight. I feel bad for almost counting him out again tonight.
Stefan, to answer your question, a 56.5 would be near the upper half of Division 5.
Yeah, 56.5 would be a D5 time.
Yeah, I was saying that 53 is 3 seconds faster than his PB, and I definitely know that feeling. But yeah, no worries. If you're ever curious, you can head on over to SRA.gg and take a look at all of the current drivers' hot lap leaderboards in the seasonal section, and you can actually see where your own race times would place you against the current drivers.
Yep. It's a really awesome tool. It records every lap that the drivers do, or every best lap that the drivers do on the servers, whether it's a race server or a practice server.
The interesting thing I've noticed a lot of drivers doing this season, which typically we notice more in the off season during the qualifying, but seeing it during season is more unique. Taking out different cars and seeing where their personal bests actually sit. I've seen a few drivers having, I don't know, upwards of a second difference across a couple cars.
No kidding.
As Nate Specht goes down the inside of Mert Michi at turn 3. Great move there.
Fantastic move. Great racing by Nate.
That's really an early race move. When the tires start to get hot and worn down, there's not a whole lot of grip to fling the nose of the car down towards that apex without the ass end spinning around.
Yep. A lot of McLaren on McLaren violence down there. By the way, to touch on what I was saying regarding Ryan Yee and his pit stop, he is leading those who've pit with Mr. Sir, not too far behind. But Ryan Yee with clean air is going to be in a really, really, really awesome position to make that undercut work wonders. He went in at P8. I'm willing to bet, given good enough lap times and consistency, he could move up as far as like P5. Especially when you consider over half of the drivers in the top 10 right now are just super, super close to each other, slowing each other down.
Holy cow, Patches just said D6 pole was a 155. This guy's putting in work.
Yeah. Was that an outlier lap, or were more than one D6 driver getting there? That's a pretty daggone good time.
Patch is saying that it was one person with a few close behind.
Sounds right.
Did you hear that?
Did I hear what? Did I hear something happen to Diego? Something happened to Diego, and something happened to Diego again as his car is just trying to murder him, apparently. Look out ahead. Big time yellow flag as he gets his car going again, but unfortunately drops from P2. Drops from P2 down to P10. Looks like it might be P11 when all is said and done. P9 actually, but that feels really bad. I'm curious to know what the heck happened to him.
Looks like Carpenter's gonna have the chance to make the switchback work. Gonna have the grip to make an effort, but no, Diego's gonna live to fight another day inside the top 10. Yeah, no, I had some weird loud sound, like a clap, echoey sound And I didn't know if it was like a soundboard or
I didn't
some
hear it.
weird audio glitch.
We'll call it an anomaly. Like whatever happened to Diego. That feels really bad for him. He was poised to obviously take a really good position. I think with where he was, he might have overtaken Kerstetter for the lead in the championship. But now that actually moves Kerstetter up to P4, which I think is going to be enough points that he won't be at risk of anybody taking it from him. If he can finish in P4, that is. Telling you, man, this guy has the favor of the race gods in his corner.
Or just a lot of skill.
You know, I think it's both. Very skilled driver. Having a very good day out here today. He's still trying to catch Nordstrom, who's still trying to catch Flamger, who's inherited the second spot on the podium from Diego.
Oh no.
Oh no?
Patches, why you do this?
Cursed stutter. We'll see. Seems blessed to me.
Good evening, Razzie-san. Welcome to the chat. And welcome to the race.
Did CJ Meeks just come out of the pits, I'm assuming? I'm guessing they're gonna drop a spot or two as they come out of the pits.
That makes more sense now.
Kerstetter's still closing in, keeping really close to Nordstrom. I bet you the McLaren he's in has significantly better tire wear than the Porsche that Nordstrom's in. Towards the end of this race, if he hasn't taken his position already, he's gonna have some opportunities. Right now, the McLaren handles tire degradation just really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard that from a few people.
Take a little break from the guys up front to bring you a absolute, just insanely tight train here in the middle of the pack. Wilson's leading a train of Good, Wheeler, Reck, Stallworth, Meeks, and Simmons. All of those guys around half a second behind each other.
Razzie not currently doing the Saturday-Sunday exhibition series right now. Just focusing all the resources on GT3, but we do have significantly more of the multi-class and endurance races going on in and around the season, so a lot more constant stuff, I guess you could say.
Lap 1 wasn't bad at all, short and saucy. Lap 1 had pretty minimal incidents. I think the under won this time.
Yeah, I think the under was a clear winner today.
I was confident in my guys. I knew they were gonna make us proud out there and show us what D1 is all about, and that is clean, respectful racing.
Patrick Rust looks to be pulling over to the side of the road. Unsure if this is...
Looks like you returned to pits.
Yeah, just kind of used the exit road and returned himself to pits. It's a little odd.
Ryan Yee still in the lead of all those who've pit. Relatively commanding lead on Mr. Sirs. He's 3 seconds ahead.
Even though the cars look similar, we are not showing the same battle in both pictures. The picture-in-picture is following 26, 27, 28, Dylan, Stallworth, CJ Meeks, and Simmons, who are your next closest train of cars. They're actually just behind this group.
Yep, just looks similar because Wheeler and Meeks are teammates. So they're sharing the same livery. Michael Louis getting extremely close to the back of that Lamborghini that Carpenter's in. That is some confident driving.
Oh, CJ Meeks and Stallworth come together in turn one.
That is not fun.
Fighting over the same space asphalt, and bumper met bumper.
It's like
Stallworth falls back 2 positions and now sits 29.
Yep. Meeks loses a position, Stallworth loses 2. Nobody wins. Brandon Chan overtakes Meeks, as does Stallworth. Maybe Meeks let him get by. A little bit of a show of respect from him.
For sure. Thank you, Stefan, for subscribing at Tier 2.
Thank you very much.
And for Razzie, the Team Series races are for the registrants only. There is also the, what are we calling it now? I'm forgetting the name for it at the moment, but we do have a second race that runs alongside it for developing your SR rating to then come out and compete with these guys. Should clarify. And gals.
Guys and gals, indeed.
Homo sapiens of all shapes and sizes. Nate Specht getting right up on the bumper of Dom Duran in the picture-in-picture. Really trying to keep his McLaren as close as possible.
Yeah, Duran just might start feeling the heat, feeling the pressure a little bit. It's only 7:30 on the clock, but the time on the race server make the sun go down. Track's gonna be getting colder. Drivers are gonna lose time a little bit because of that. And if they didn't set their tires up for success, they're gonna be noticing a pretty strong lack of grip, especially with any kind of pressure loss. Nate's still really close to him back there. Shark POV as Nordstrom chases Flomger. Oh boy, picture-in-picture, Nate actually gets attacked and fortunately defends his position for the time being. That Audi takes a look to the inside and...
Brooker not looking to let that fight end early.
Whew, that was a aggressive attempt. Now he's flashing his lights at him.
Yeah, he's just letting them know he's there.
Yeah, it's a safety precaution.
Exactly.
Max Stiggs says he hears a pig. Porca.
Porca. Yeah, we're gonna get pretty close to sundown. Full sunset should be about 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So it'll get pretty dark by the time the race is over. We've already dropped 1 degree as Nate Specht goes off into the wall.
Oh no. Can you show, yep, what happened there?
Oh, Schumacher S. Car just gets unsteady and then gets up in the stand and says bye-bye.
Dang it.
And the
I hate
marshal
to see
says
that.
green flag, folks. Green flag.
Sure.
It looks like Nate has elected to retire from the race.
I don't blame him. Nobody wants to die from just driving. Schumacher S will do that to you, but God, that feels bad. I hate to see that. Nordstrom's still feeling some pretty grand pressure in his mirror from Kerstetter. Kerstetter still wants to snag that podium position from him. Stefan Buckley says that he's been building up his new woodworking shop. I couldn't be more jealous. Yeah, Max. Mia is absolutely running away.
5 seconds.
Oh boy. Oh, the timing. Timing was just enough to keep Travis ahead of Kerstetter as he went into the grass following the chicane. He gets a clean enough exit out of the final corner that he's going to hold his position still for now. Kerstetter almost pounced.
Mia does have pretty high ping, but I believe she normally does. If I'm not mistaken, she's racing from Europe.
I think they're racing from Australia, actually.
Even further.
Yeah, even further.
Yeah. Yeah, confirmed in the chat for us, Australia, but Yeah, that's pretty tough. And I mean, even racing around her, it's not that bad. Better than some responses I've seen from cars with low green ping bars. .54.8 last lap, 54.0 best lap.
54 is absurd.
Really, it's really her race to lose.
Absolutely is. And a 54.0 is over 2/10 faster than the next fastest lap on the board, just like in quali. Pace-wise, just absolutely blowing the hinges off this thing.
No doubt. Stallworth spins out. Take a look at what happened there.
Is it self-inflicted?
Oh.
Oh, it's like he just
Got unsteady on the curb there, and I think just kind of moved away from the apex to stay safe, and is now elected to also drop out from the race.
A lot of drivers are leaving points on the board as they do that. As by the way, Kerstetter entered the pits from P4. He's going to try and undercut on Nordstrom. And Nordstrom is actually somehow caught up to Flomger, even though Flomger had made some decent progress due to his little off-track excursion earlier. Wonder if maybe Flomger's having some struggles of his own in that car. His last lap was a 55.1, which isn't gonna win any awards, but isn't necessarily slow.
Kerstetter comes out in P13, just a second and a half ahead of Ryan Yee.
A second and a half ahead of Ryan Yee, you said?
Correct.
That's a really, really good spot to be. I know Ryan Yee's been running a pretty dang successful undercut so far.
Some would even say it's a great spot to Yee.
Some might.
I'll be here all season.
But oh, Nordstrom electing to go into the pits. Goes way, way, way across that line. Pretty late. Who knows how to enter the pits here, though, to be honest? That puts Peter O'Brien up into the third spot for the time being. Flomger 5.7 seconds behind Mia Rose.
Good catch there, Diggs. Yeah, Griffith does not appear to be racing today.
He's not out there. Dang. This is going to be a little bit of a shake-up up towards the top of the leaderboards today, especially the team standings. I think Kerstetter's potentially going to keep his top spot as long as he continues to run a good race. Other than that, I think some people might change.
Coming out just half a second ahead of Kerstetter.
Really? So Nordstrom knew he had to pit as he was getting caught behind Flomger and did it right on time. Here's checking the actual statistics on that. He was in the pits for 34 seconds, as Kerstetter was also in the pits for 34 seconds. Both drivers nailed their pit stops. The undercut does not prevail this time. Where is Kish? We don't know. He's not out there. Tongue Titan says he's bending bruise or something. Lundstrom appears to be about a second ahead of Kerstetter now for the moment. Take a peek at the race leader. Currently nobody on track. Even those who've pit appear to be in any kind of position to challenge them. Running an absolute just fantastic race. Well, for the moment, we've got a little bit of a lull in track action. So this is going to be as good of a time as any to do a quick ad read for you guys. Of course, a huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that'll enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. And finally, to Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. It's my favorite part of the whole race. I love doing it.
When the race stops so you can read. Nerd. You like reading? Nerd.
Anything but looking at this race. To be honest though, now after all those pit stops and the shakeup that came from him, Kerstetter the only person in the top 17 who's within a second of another driver. So things have definitely settled down. The wear is starting to set in on these cars, and I'm willing to bet a lot of these drivers are just looking to find a spot to be comfy in. Appears a lot of them have found it. To answer your question, Stefan Buckley, I couldn't say for sure. I know that Mia does have some silverware from some other series that they race in for joining us here at the great SRA. But off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you which.
No matter which one it was, though, clearly wasn't enough of a challenge. She had to come here to get some real battle on the racetrack.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this race hasn't been too much for her, but first 3 races, she's had a lot on her plate.
Yeah, been a lot of racing from them.
Trackalicious, what's going on?
Ian Wheeler's running a pretty dang good race for the time being. He's moved up to P22 after having pit already. On track for their best D1 finish so far. Patches, poor Diego is right. That is not something I expected to see. It's really a bummer to see it. And Ryan Yee's caught up to Kerstetter, by the way. Very valuable to point out that we know for sure Kerstetter, Nordstrom, and Yee are all currently kind of vying for that 3rd podium position. When all is said and done and all of the drivers go through their pit stops, as it stands, Nordstrom would be taking P3, Kerstetter in P4. I don't know for sure yet whether or not Yee would be right behind him or not. But yeah. Gonna be interesting to see. And I would wager Flomger might lose out from their undercut strategy against him. Right now, Kerstetter, Nordstrom, and Yee are all kind of doing an undercut against Flomger. Flomger doing low 55s for the time being. Nordstrom doing high 54s. Nordstrom was right behind Flomger when he went into the pits, and I'd wager he's going to be coming out ahead of him when the shakeup is over.
Dirty Deegan, to answer your question there, Diego is still on track. He's down here in 27th in picture-in-picture.
He's still fighting. He knows there's still points. Points to be earned. Every point matters. As it stands, even last place in this race will get points. It's not worth it to leave.
Holy pip.
Trackalicious, what's up? Patches says points for his fantasy draft teams are the most important points. That's the real championship.
Diego patches or anything to do with Pepe? Also directing whether or not patches has Diego.
Right. Nobody ever drafts me in SRA fantasy. I'm
Oh,
washed.
Sam Reck and Ian
Oh
Wheeler
my
come
gosh.
together at the kink.
Ah, you hate to see that. Ian Wheeler was running such a good race. Sam
Watching
Reck
that
from
back end.
behind.
Looks like he gets the toe.
He's trying to go inside.
Is still there, and
Mm,
Ian turned over as if he wasn't still there.
yeah. I'd definitely like to see a slower one of that. It's a really risky spot to be trying an overtake, and if both drivers don't execute perfectly, it's gonna be a bad night for one or both of them. In that
For
case,
sure.
Ian Wheeler loses out, and his nice race is not so nice now.
Yeah, Stefan, a lot of people tend to just opt for when they need to pit, like getting out of a battle, when they feel they're working their tires too hard, if they notice the pressures or the temperatures skyrocket from battling or sliding and stuff. But something that's really come to be a bit of a, I guess you could say, meta strategy or typically used strategy is to just stay out as late as possible if you don't have anybody in front of you and just enjoy the free air, enjoy minimally working your tires.
Exactly. In 1.9, to me it seems the undercut and the overcut of the entire race is king.
Yeah, it really comes down to maximizing that free air space. Like if you undercut and you do it like a lap too late and have to battle, I don't know, 2, 3 laps into that, it automatically makes it not worth it. But if you did it early and you stayed away from people until 5, 10 laps into that, it just might work. I don't know. It's a weird numbers game, man. I just kind of go out and drive.
I drive.
There's some of these D1 guys out here with 4 pit strategies and 3 options, and right, if this guy pits, I'm gonna do this.
That's why they pay him the big bucks. Metaphorically.
I was gonna say, I feel like the kid from that meme. You guys are getting paid?
Eyebrows kid.
Mm-hmm. I always forget the name of that movie, but I've seen it like 4 times.
We're the Millers.
There it is.
There it is.
Whoop. There it is.
Whoop indeed. 12 minutes left. It's coming towards the end of the race, and still no racing is developed inside the top 13. Of course, we do have Mr. Minning attacking Mr. Sir. He's only 3/10 behind Mr. Sir's McLaren. How long will this battle go? Will he be able to put the pressure on consistently for long enough to bide his time and wait for a mistake from Mr. Sir? We will see. Mr. Sir, in the meantime, has dropped off about 4 seconds from Ryan Yee. Wondering if maybe that's because he's defending against Minning. Minning was in, I want to say P6 or P7 towards the beginning of this race, after lap 1. Patches says, Mr. Sir sounds like something an alien would call themselves. That or Rania over. Well, as he hops over the chicane and enters the final corner to start another lap, it might sound like something an alien would call themselves because he is an alien. If you're unaware, the SR Alien badges dropped today. The announcement has been made of the top 10 SR ratings in the league, and Mr. Sir is one of them, so I think you're right, Patches. An alien would call himself that. See what I did there, Josh?
That was pretty clever.
I'll be here all night. I was waiting for Cricket's soundbite there.
I was sending some condolences to a few of our departed drivers.
Condolences are needed for some of them. Poor Nate, poor Diego. Gone too soon. Pour one out. Pour one out, chat.
Pour one out for family.
For family.
The perfect soundbite, but I'm just not going to use it. Nick Sand is currently down in P28 for you, Patches.
He's having a time down there. Not too slow or anything. His best lap being a 55.2 isn't too far off the pace. Last lap of 55.8
As we look away, Michael Louis finally made the overtake on Gomer Wilson.
Nice. Job getting ahead of him there, Louis.
Didn't mean to jump back, but that was one of the few battles we were following for the last hour there.
Caught it live in the picture-in-picture, right?
Nope.
Oh,
we missed it. But I don't know about you, but this race kind of like fast forwarded for me. I remember it being like 42 minutes left, and then now there's 6.5 minutes left.
Yeah, I hope the same thing happens tomorrow for us. Sometimes we'll be in a race. I'll look up exhausted, pouring sweat, and we're like, okay, I probably have to pit soon because this race has to be coming to an end. 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
What?
Don't you just hate looking up at the clock 3 hours into your workday and realizing it's only been 5 minutes?
That I do.
That's how Donington felt.
Donington was an hour in paradise for sure. Victor Diaz heads into the pits. Nordstrom and Kerstetter say thank you. Take that spot for now. Nordstrom still leading those guys who've pit. Kerstetter's fallen off from him a bit. He's over 2 seconds behind Nordstrom, which means he might lose a position to Pete O'Brien or Spangler, depending on how well their laps have been going in the meantime.
Victor Diaz and Dan Good close coming into the first turn. Dan Good takes the position. Diaz coming out in P20.
Nice.
Our boy Diego is coming up on the back of another driver, looking to make an overtake.
There's that Sakura Ferrari.
Down in P26, looking to make Mr. Bray his next victim. I mean, contestant.
He's taking vengeance upon the rest of the grid.
The picture-in-picture captures it in a picture-by-picture form as the frame rate jumps up and down like a child on a trampoline.
Slideshow gives us all we need.
It's like one of those Instagram edits where it's a video and then it stops and it's like a bunch of photos
Yeah.
of the event happening and then it goes back to the video afterwards. Yeah, that's how we document overtakes at SRA.
Shutter mode style. I was promised battles.
As was I. Diego's trying to make one here. He's glued to the back of this Lamborghini.
Is trying. One thing I am going to be watching out for coming up is the closing of the pit window. A lot of drivers, as they will be approaching the pit entry soon, are going to have to go in. Actually, pretty much every driver that's every driver that's currently on pace or on the same lap as the leader are going to have to pit right now. So that means
O'Brien, Spangler are in the pits.
Yep, Flanger, O'Brien, Spangler, they're all going to have to. So they file into the pits, and I need to see where that puts Flanger. Oh boy.
Picture-in-picture is on board with Nordstrom.
Nordstrom tried to execute the undercut. Will he get ahead of Flanger? He certainly will, as his undercut absolutely decimates Flanger coming out of the pits, as does Kerstetter's. Kerstetter's early, kind of mid-race pit stop works out very strongly to his advantage. I believe that's going to put him in P4.
See what Mr. Sir gets ahead of Peter O'Brien, claiming P6.
Awesome. Mr. Sir slots into P6. Ryan Yee slots into P5. Awesome driving from those guys. The early pit stop worked wonders for them. For them, Kerstetter and Nordstrom all gain positions. Kerstetter actually takes, for the time being, the third podium spot, which is just absolutely wild, as I believe he started P7 or P8 today. Huge comeback drive from him, just working his way up through the grid. Ryan Yee too. I think Ryan Yee started P7 or P8 next to Kerstetter, has moved up to P5. So the undercut definitely worked. By the way, Mr. Sir started P11, moved up all the way to P6 for the time being. Amazing drive from him, the early pit stop. They're giving me ideas, man. They're giving me ideas.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
1 lap to go, left in the race. We've got racing.
We certainly do. We're going to follow Diego and Mr. Bray in the picture-in-picture for the final lap.
Peter O'Brien in my favorite livery on the grid, the Wave. Chasing down Mr. Sir, trying to take that P6 spot away from him. He's got Michael Minning not too far behind, less than a second. And just behind Minning is Spangler, and catching quick. It's going to be the only battle in P10. It's going to be this four-way battle, which seemingly turning into two-way battles. Minning is being...
Try the outside. He's going to switch back to the inside. Can he get a good enough drive to challenge at turn 2? Not enough.
Not enough. It's hard. It's hard to make a move work there.
He's got to be careful he doesn't fight him too much, because he's bringing Ian Wheeler right into the mix, who could jump 2 spots right at the end of this race.
We'd love to see it. A little redemption for the guy. Approaching their third and final sector of the lap and the race. Looks like Mr. Sir may have pulled away enough, as he's 7/10 ahead of Peter O'Brien, to keep his position.
Finish the race.
Peter O'Brien goes very deep. Can he maintain it?
God.
Gets a little more grass action, but he's able to stick it.
That's a track cut.
Yeah, that's... I mean, he lost time from it, but he didn't overtake anybody.
Is correct.
Spangler not able to make the move happen on Minning. Finishing order for that top 10 is going to be Rose, Nordstrom, Kerstetter, Flomger, Yee with the P5, Mr. Sir, Peter O'Brien, Michael Minning, Spangler, and Mercer.
Diego looking to make a move in the last hairpin. Not gonna do it, but a great battle from these two all the way to the finish.
Still a very cute photo finish as they cross the line together with Ian Wheeler not too far behind.
Yeah, Dirty Deegan pointing out brown, brown, brown. Yeah, I agree. It looked like Ian lost sight of his braking point or turn-in point and went to go cut the first corner and almost got enough grass to slide him into those cars.
Almost.
Thankfully, none of that happened, but yeah.
He was definitely going for it. He wanted that position, man.
No
but
doubt.
Luckily enough, he shows enough skill to keep it planted, doesn't catch too much grass, and gets to finish and keep his position.
To answer your question there, Stefan, yeah, we've got 2 groups in every division. You've got your gold and your silver half of the division, and that just kind of creates a championship for both halves to fight for, because realistically, the individual divisions start out pretty tight packed in terms of skill and pace, but as we go on, like it does kind of get separated, so that way people who are down in P20, P30 still have something to go after. You get what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's 2 awesome races occurring simultaneously, all in one race. I love it. It's a great format.
And it's kind of homage to where SRA started, where we had 2 divisions in the same server.
So once again, Rose, Nordstrom, and Kerstetter are our podium finishers. Rose with the freaking fantastic win, actually finishes 7.5 seconds ahead of Nordstrom. Kerstetter not too far behind Nordstrom, 3 seconds behind, taking
and
that.
I've got all 3 of them ready to go. They were actually the only 3 in the voice channel.
Awesome, awesome. Let's hear from Mia. Mia Rose, welcome into the booth. Congratulations on a just absurdly dominant win today. How are you feeling?
After what happened last week, very, very good. Yeah, I think last week I was trying a bit too hard to get ahead of Kirstetter for points and got a DT and then a stop go and called it at that. But yeah, today was probably what I needed after last week.
Yeah, it looked like it was a rewarding, just excellent redemption out there for you today. The drive-through stacked on top of the stop-go 30 last week was ugly to see, but you're back at it. You're going to be back in the standings after this, and I'm sure you're going to be ready to keep on swinging at Kirstetter.
Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully, Mazzano is a bit kind to me for track limit 6 weeks.
Isano is going to be an interesting one. I think the BMW is going to feel good there, so there is something to look forward to. Speaking of the BMW feeling good, was my prediction correct? Did it just feel comfortable out there? Was there any issues with race pace or comfortability?
Not really. I had been working on the setup to try and get it better out of the corners, but then I realised it was a picnic issue, not in cars. So yeah, a few more laps, and then in practice before the race, I hit a 53.9 with the race set, and then went out there and qualified at 53 flat, and I was like, all right, we've got pace to win, and then pole fastest lap, all laps led, consistent as hell, amazing.
Oh yeah, from the start. I mean, your start looked amazing. Right off the jump, you were ahead of Diego, and Diego wasn't able to make that move work or any move or attempt into turn one. And from then on, it was just kind of you running into the sunset. And once again, congratulations on a dominant win and pretty clean sweep tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Actually, Diego was probably pressuring me a tiny bit in the first lap or two, and then he must have just got the chicane really bad, and it sort of opened the door for the other three behind. And I was like, okay, that's good enough. And then I hoped the other three behind me battled, and they didn't. They just stayed. They just stayed all in a nice little pack, and I just kept pulling away. I'm like, okay, this is good enough. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were consistently like 3-4 tenths ahead per lap, and just absolutely, just an absolute masterclass. So next race, maybe it'll be closer, and we'll have some fights up top.
Well, next race will either go that I absolutely flop or I'll get another win. So we'll see if the trends stay the same.
We will see. By the way, with that awesome finish tonight, you're up to P6. Just about 100 points behind Kirstetter, catching up fast.
Does that points tally include drop rounds or no?
I believe it.
It should not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
I believe those get turned on after the next round.
Okay. So
Exactly.
Let's hope that the drop round works in my favor.
We will hope. But once again, congratulations. Have a good night.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Josh. Let's hear from our second place podium finisher. Today that's going to be Travis Nordstrom, who also ran an awesome race.
That way you can't hear each other.
Hey, Travis, you're in the booth.
Hello.
Awesome drive. How you feeling?
Pretty good. That was a good race. The Porsche actually, like, I don't say this often, is really actually fun to drive there in the race. Quali's a little bit different. It's really hard to control in quali, but man, the race actually drives nicely.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I haven't really stepped into the car, but I feel like I oftentimes see people fishtailing a little bit in front of me in that car, and so I've kind of just stayed away from it. But hey, if that's what you're telling me, maybe I should try it. I like it.
It's only car. Only here. You got like one race out of 20, or one track out of 28 or whatever it is. That's like that. Kota's good too, but
yeah,
man, it's kind of rare to see it that good.
Well, today was your day, man. We saw. Yep. Of course, we saw what looked to be a very intentional undercut going on
Yeah.
near the mid portion of the race. What were your thoughts on that?
It wasn't as much of an undercut. It was like I gotta cover off Ed
Yeah.
because I could tell he was getting held up the same way. So I'm like, he's gonna pass me. And so like if I don't kind of cover him off, he's gonna pass me. And if I do try and cover him off and we end up getting stuck behind traffic, I'm still in third anyways. So I was like a no lose situation sort of thing. I was kind of forced into it. I felt.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it worked out pretty heavily in your favor. Kerstetter kind of forced the issue, and incidentally, you get a relatively unintentional undercut in that sense because Flomger didn't quite have the pace to keep you guys covered.
Right.
When all was said and done, you and Kerstetter both overtook him.
Did you see San hit the wall right going into the pit lane right in front of me?
I don't think we did. Did we, Josh?
Okay.
We saw a couple people hit the wall, but I think
not noticed that.
Lap 19, he was trying to go into the pits and like missed his braking marker, and you know how that wall is over off to the left? He hit that wall like right in front of me and bounced onto the track. I had to take evasive maneuvers. It was really scary. I thought for sure my race was over then.
I'm glad to hear it
Anyways,
wasn't.
yeah, I was just wondering if you guys saw it because it was scary.
We didn't get to catch that, unfortunately. Next time, we were going for a rate of catching 100% of the on-track action a day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was around nobody, so it didn't make sense to be on me anyways. But yeah, maybe I was just wondering if you guys caught it somehow. But yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, I think in reality we're probably closer to like 50%. The on-track action continues to evade us, or on pseudo on-track in pit lane action.
Yeah.
I wish I would have saw it next time. But once again, Travis, awesome racing. Congrats on the P2. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You too. That's Nordstrom. Awesome drive from him today. And last but not least, we're going to talk to P3 for the night. Ed Kerstetter, still championship leader. Ed, welcome to the booth.
Hello.
Awesome comeback drive from you again today. I think it was P7 to P3. And due to that awesome drive, you're still the championship leader, despite my predictions. Otherwise, you came and proved me wrong. How you feeling?
Oh, you doubted me, huh? Oh, man.
Well, it's like, we had like Diego. I think Diego was not too far behind you, and he was in P2. So it's like, well,
yeah, they were crazy fast, especially in Q.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stepped on you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Quali went well for them, but the race went well for you, and your undercut strategy worked out. You got a kind of a 2-for-1 deal with that as you passed both Flomger and Nordstrom. So, awesome strategy choice. What was going through your head when you made that decision?
Almost got Nordstrom.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and that's fine.
Stayed.
I was trying to, obviously. A couple laps before I pit, he made a mistake on the second to last corner in that chicane or whatever that terrible corner is.
Right.
And I was going to pit that lap, and I should have, because I think we lost about a second because I wasn't able to pass him. And then the next lap still lost another second.
Yep.
So I think if I would have pit that lap, I probably would have been able to come out in front of him because he only came out like a second or less by the time he did pit.
Right.
But no, he played that well. I don't know if I was going to be able to keep him behind, though. He was very fast. Like he pulled away probably 2.5, 3 seconds, I think, with what was that, 25 minutes. So
Yep.
he definitely had pace on me, but I could have made that McLaren kind of wide. But
yeah,
no sense in thinking about it now.
Yeah, still, P7, P8 to P3 is going to feel good. Nordstrom covered you off great, but you guys both got past Flomger, so in the end, it worked out for both of you.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. I was trying to keep an eye on his Flaminger's laps to see where he was at, and it kept yo-yoing. So I knew it was going to be close, and I think I got him by about a second or second and a half. I think by the time we got out of the pit. So
Yep. Yeah,
Worked
that
out,
sounds about
worked
right.
out pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I could only like starting in the back or starting in, I think it was 6. I wanted to be on the outside because you kind of have that exit strategy, and like we saw in the practice race, sometimes that first corner can be kind of mayhem. So I think I got one position at the start, and then it was just bide time. Don't try to do anything stupid because I'm not winning this one, and just try to bring it home in a solid position. So all in all, worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it went really well. Once again, obviously, congrats on maintaining the championship lead. It's got to feel great. You proved me wrong today. Tomorrow I'll be racing the D2 race in the same car, the McLaren. You got any tips for me?
Let's see. I went a little conservative on the rake because it does get kind of loose longer into the run. So around like 30 to 45 minutes. And so going down on the rake helped keep it more stable throughout the run. So I'd recommend that. Obviously makes it a little bit slower, but save the tires pretty well. So
awesome job. That is something I'll do. Thanks for the advice. Thanks for giving us a show, and good luck next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, that's going to be it for our interviews today. And that's going to wrap us up for the night. Thanks to the viewers for checking in with us and entertaining us with your presence. I hope we entertained you just as much. We'll see you next week as we take on the challenge of broadcasting Misano.
At
Next.
least there'll be lots to talk about. Oh, there's a drive-through. Oh, there's a drive-through. Oh, there's a drive-through.
Well, we thought that was going to happen at Coda, and there was only one. In D1, I think there was only one drive-through, so I think I'm going to be betting the under again when it comes down to that.
We'll see how the line fares when we get there. But it'll be fun regardless.
Right. But, well, once again, from all of us here in the booth and all of us at SRA, thanks for joining us, and have a blessed night.
It has been the longest off-season of SRA. The rust has been wiped off and the cars are revved up and ready to go. Welcome to SRA.
And we're off and away for SRA.